Well, this college football season just keeps motoring along. Here we are already in the first weekend of October. Guys, here on the video report with what I jokingly call the best of the worst when it comes to complimentary plays. After I narrowed down this busy Saturday card, knocking out all the plays that for one reason or another have warts and using my best bet over at DeMarcosports.com and then narrowing that card and giving you the complimentary plays, the best of the worst. Well, that top play here on the video report is 4-1. The past 5 Saturdays after cashing last Saturday with Kansas State and the previous Saturday with Washington. Well, number 5 out of 6 is coming your way in just a moment among 4 complimentary plays for this Saturday card. Hi, everyone. Al DeMarco here, General Manager of DeMarcosports.com. Yes, that's me. That's my name at the bottom of the video report. And listen, not only have I done well here with the complimentary plays, but my best bets over at DeMarcosports.com, I have now won 3 of the last 4 Saturdays after cashing in last Saturday with Indiana getting the job done against Maryland, and the week before, Tennessee winning at Oklahoma. Listen, they have been normal, top-rated, 15-dime best bet releases. And I like to keep my rating system very tight, 5 to 15 dimes in 5-dime increments, because that narrow range lets you know exactly how much I like a play. There will be an occasion when I have a ultra rare 30-dime play. That's my highest rated play. They are few and far between, but I will often have raised the bar 20-dime plays. Last year in college, I had 1. I hit it. In the NFL, I had 9. I hit 6 out of 9 of them. I can live with that. So combined, 7 out of 10 last year in football. Well, for Saturday, I will have my first of the season. And you know what I like to say? I don't believe that you have to spend a fortune to make big money. So once again, as with all the others, it will be the half price play of the day, and it will be available over at DeMarcosports.com. You can check out the coupon. Well, I can tell you the coupon. Hell, it's going to be the word half, HALF, just like all the other ones for the first Raise the Bar 20-dime release of the season. I would give you the matchup, but then you would know exactly probably what the play is if you follow me often enough. Hey, FYI, I had touted Rick Torino last week. I talked and told you that he is the winningest handicapper at the site in football, making $10 bettors, $14,780 college and pro combined since the start of last season. I mentioned last week on the video report that he had a pair of top-rated 100-dime college football releases. His first 2 of the season, he won them both. Congratulations to them. Rutgers over Washington on Friday, and then Kansas State hammering Oklahoma State on Saturday. I think he is now 19-5 with them since his site debut 2.5 seasons ago. He goes into the weekend, FYI, into the Friday night card, looking for college winner number 6 in a row. I know he has his second highest play on Saturday. It's going to be 75-dime winner number 11 of 14. I think he's had 1 this year. It was Clemson over North Carolina State. It's a play that matches his national championship winner last year on Michigan over Washington. It's his second of the year, number 11 out of 14 overall. I can tell you it's going to be over half price off. The coupon will be over at the site. I don't know what the matchup is. But anyway, that's what he has going again. And I told you what his numbers are. So there you go. Okay. With all that being said, quick little story for you. Pete Rose obviously passed away earlier this week. Listen, when I got my start as a professional journalist, which seems like 100 lifetimes ago, a different world when I think back about it, I was still in college. And what is now, I think, called NBC Sports in Philadelphia. Before that, it was Comcast Sports. Before that, it was something else. They had at that time a nightly or twice nightly sports update program, kind of like what ESPN is, but a very short 5 to 10 minute version where they talked about the local teams, gave you scores updates, even news updates too at the outset. And I was like an associate producer for it, gathering sound, doing interviews with different players and stuff, editing packages, video packages, etc. It was a great experience, to a learning experience too. Again, I was still in college at the time. And initially I worked with following the 76ers and the Flyers during the fall because they were based where the Flyers and the 76ers played in the Spectrum in Philadelphia. So when the season ended, their seasons ended, the Phillies were playing. So I was given a choice then, I could do the Kiss Cam at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia. You know what the Kiss Cam is? That's when they're taking the random shots throughout the stadium, couples kissing, mascots dancing, in between shots during the innings of reactions from fans. Yeah, in the middle of summer, running up and down all those steps, and it was like 3 innings on, 3 innings off, 3 innings again because you needed 3 innings in between to recover from 100-degree heat. Yeah, hard no. Or I could go cover the Phillies. Lifelong Phillies fan. Yeah, hard decision there. So I decided to go cover the Phillies. Pete Rose was without a doubt, of all the athletes I ever covered in all the locker rooms and all the sports, the absolute number one guy to interview because Pete Rose could be asked the same question 7 times by 7 different people. And if you were number 8, he would make the 8th answer even better than the first. And he would make you feel like that was the most original and outstanding question he had ever been asked in his life. And it didn't matter whether you worked for the Washington Post, the New York Times, ESPN, or you were me. That's the type of guy he was. And understand, when you're in locker rooms, right, there are guys that you never want to approach after a loss, ever. There are guys that you can only approach when it's a good win and they performed well. There are guys that you only approach knowing that you got to put up with at least a minute 45 of, I just want to praise God. I want to praise Allah. I want to thank the good Lord. Oh my God. And then you get to the answer to your question. And then it's just like word salad. You think politicians give you word salad? Oh my God. And then there are guys, don't even come close to them because they'll tell you F off. Okay. And then there are guys like Pete Rose who win, lose, doesn't matter. They are always stand-up guys willing to talk to you. And Pete Rose was the best at that I ever encountered in all my years around athletes, hands down. Did he have demons? Yeah. I mean, and I don't have to recount them. 1989 is when I broke into the gambling business full time. And, I read the Dowd report front to back. Yeah, I believe everything the Dowd report had. I think it was very comprehensive. I mean, this isn't, do I think he gambled on baseball and everything else? Yeah. Bottom line. Do I think he believes in the Hall of Fame? For his playing, yes. I think there's a lot of people in the Hall of Fame who probably did a hell of a lot worse, but we're just not aware of it. But that's my opinion. End of story. Okay, let's move on and talk about football here, huh? And listen, I think my top play, no, I don't think, I know, my top play is going to be Washington. -2.5 at home against Michigan, a Michigan team that I don't think is that good. Forget about this being a rematch in the national championship because these teams aren't the same. Total turnover on both sides, especially Washington. But this Michigan team, who have they beaten since that loss to Texas? Arkansas State, big deal. USC, the Trojans gift-wrapped them the win thanks to a costly fourth quarter turnover. And Minnesota, 27-24, they were up 24-3 in the fourth quarter and had to hold on. And the Golden Gophers are just average at best. First road game for Michigan, and you're traveling all the way to Seattle? Yeah, that's kind of tough. They're still unsettled at quarterback. And Washington has a good defense. Did they lose at Rutgers? Yes, they did. But they missed 3 field goals. They committed 6 or 7 penalties for almost 70 yards, so they deserve to lose 21-18. I think Washington wins this one by a touchdown. And the next play is that close to being right there with Washington. Navy -10 at Air Force. Revenge game for the midshipmen. And you say, well, in these service academy matchups, that's a lot of points, especially on the road. But I told you early in the year, Air Force is not the Air Force of old. Only 2 offensive starters back, not a very good defense. Their only win coming against somebody by the name of Merrimack College. Oh, yes, I know that one person from Merrimack College watching this video. I'm going to get your email flamed, but I don't give a damn. This is a team, Air Force, that was up at halftime 13-7 against an 0-4 Wyoming team last week and ended up losing that game 31-19. This is a Navy team that brought in a new offensive coordinator and totally revamped their offense because they're not that traditional option team. Yeah, they run the option, but they have a lot more motion now as well. They frequently shift, pre-motion shifts too. And it shows with their offensive production, how they throw the ball a lot more too now. I mean, this is a team that averaged a little under 18 points a game a year ago. Now they're averaging 46 points a game. So to cover the 10 at Air Force, yeah, I've got no problem there. So Washington and Navy would be 1 and 2. Before I get to my next two plays, you see it at the bottom of the screen. If you'd like to get my top play, you want to get Rick Torino's top play, all the other plays of all the handicappers for free, and you've never taken advantage of this offer before, what the hell's your problem? It's free. You get all the plays of all the handicappers for free for 2 days, and you pick the days using the All Access Pass. Now, normally the All Access Pass costs $99 or $109. You get it for free, no strings attached if you've never taken advantage of it before. I've done it for over 20 years because I think it's the best way for those of you that have never sampled the site to get a taste, to see what we as handicappers do, because everybody analyzes games differently and there's no strings attached. Free really does mean free. It doesn't mean, hey, some salesperson's going to call you and hit you up for thousands of dollars, because there are no salespersons. So free means free. So check it out, the All Access Pass, if you've never taken advantage of it before, over at DeMarcosports.com. Your next complimentary play is going to be Oregon State minus the 11.5 at home, taking on Colorado State. I think Oregon State is still the more talented team personnel-wise, because they still have some of that Pac-12 going for them, where Colorado State never was going to recruit that type of athlete because of their Mountain West membership, which, you look at Oregon State, their only loss came against Oregon. They beat an Idaho State at home. They won at San Diego State 21-0 shutout. They beat up Purdue, and Purdue isn't a good team, but they really legend Purdue at home, 445 total yards, 341 of them on the ground. Both teams are coming off a bye. I look at Colorado State, and yes, they lost 52-0 at Texas. Their two wins came against Northern Colorado, an FCS team, and an 0-4 UTEP team. Their big step-up game. Remember when Colorado came in to Fort Collins and dominated them 29-8. They don't do well on third downs, only about 28% conversion. You've got a Colorado State, an Oregon team that runs the ball so well, averaging almost 268 yards a game. You've got a Oregon State team that went out and brought in a 2-year starter from Idaho State, Giovanni McCoy, who, when he was with Idaho State, 42 touchdowns, 6,500 yards during his 2-year career as a starter. He also is a little bit of a dual threat. He hasn't really had to pass the ball a lot, and it hasn't been called on because it's a little bit of a different offensive scheme. The other thing is to consider this. Winning in Corvallis on a Saturday night ain't easy. That is a rabid fan base. And Oregon State is 13-1 straight up, 12-2 against the spread. The last 14 times they've been a home chalk. I don't think this is a bad number. I think 11.5 is very manageable. Now, your final complimentary play, and listen, this is like the bottom of the barrel pick, okay? It's going to be Iowa State. I thought about Boise State, but I was a little worried about Boise State, even though they covered and won 7 straight against Utah State. Boise State just has me a little worried. Could be a letdown after beating up Washington State last week. So instead, I opted for Iowa State, coming off a shutout of Houston, 4-0 start. They've only allowed 29 points total. 19 of them came in the win against Iowa. Strong defense taking on Baylor, a Baylor team that, think about what they've done on the road. They had the game in Colorado right there. Last play in regulation, Hail Mary pass. Colorado then eventually wins it in overtime. Goes to Utah, down early against the Utes. Cam Rising gets hurt. They still can't win the damn game. Made it respectable, still can't win the game. Last week, what does Baylor do? At home, falls behind early to BYU, 28-7. Makes it respectable again, the final score, but thoroughly outplayed. The defense hasn't delivered. They're playing for a 6th straight week, and they're going to take on one of the top defensive teams in the nation, Iowa State. Do I have my qualms about Iowa State being able to cover this big number? Yes, I do. Could be an under as well. But I'm willing to venture the points, laying them with Iowa State, even though, granted, they've been in North Dakota, Arkansas State at home, and then Houston and Iowa on the road. But I'm just not impressed with Baylor. So, again, let's recap the plays. Washington, number one. Navy, close second. Oregon State, number three. And really far down that list is going to be Iowa State. So that'll do it, guys. I wish you well and talk to you again soon.